Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Koos, you've been a staunch advocate of the Gateway program between New Jersey and New York City. The price tag for this program has continually risen, with the current estimate at $37 billion. I remain concerned that this number reflects inflated labor costs at the expense of taxpayers all across the rest of the country. Nevertheless, given that the 2021 infrastructure law has already made tens of billions of dollars available for Gateway and other Northeast Corridor programs, it is important to know that Amtrak can complete major capital projects in a timely and cost-effective manner. Mr. Koos, what steps has Amtrak taken during your tenure as Amtrak Board Chairman to improve its completion of capital projects in a timely and a cost-effective manner?
Thank you, Ranking Member Cruz, for that question. And in fact, it goes to the very heart of what I know is a very top priority to the entire board. And certainly, in my career, I've had lots of exposures to large projects and have seen the difficulty, frankly, throughout the United States of being able to manage mega projects. You know, the notion of being able to plan smart and then build quickly, the ability to sort of deploy resources in the most efficient way. What I would say to you is that we understand that there are methods that can be used. There are means and methods that can be used to advance mega projects, which historically in government-sponsored projects have not been adequately deployed. Some of that involves the right level of oversight, the right level of planning. I would submit to you that a major reason for cost overruns is the desire to plan very quickly and then try to sort of develop solutions in the field. The reality is that until you have an absolute solid plan that has been vetted and reviewed from an engineering perspective and a planning perspective, where you have a certain amount of predictability about cost inputs, it is a very risky proposition to go out and build. I recognize that the Gateway program will be a very significant challenge for any entity in the United States to build, let alone entities for whom, in some cases, this is a new sort of endeavor for them. But we have to, as a nation, prove our ability to build large-scale projects and to do them on time, on mission, and safely and effectively on budget. And those are all things that we're now building through building the right kind of expertise internally, people who have the kind of project management expertise, much of which comes from the private sector that we've been able to borrow. Instances where we can look at other mega projects that have been done in the United States and around the world to find those means and methods that can work. And we are, in fact, deploying those things in, I think, a very effective way. And I'm hopeful that Gateway will actually be a demonstration of our nation's ability to undertake a very large-scale project of this nature where there is an absolute need for it to be built, but do it in a responsible way. And we should agonize over every step of the process and hold people accountable for meeting benchmarks at different intervals to determine that we're keeping it on progress.
$37 billion is a lot of money. Is Gateway going to come in on budget, or are we going to come back and discover that $37 billion has become 40, has become 50, has become $60 billion?
Senator, in my experience, when people use a budget number before they've actually done the work, it's largely because they're trying to create optics around it and not because they necessarily know. The $37 billion number, which you refer to, and I understand how that number and other numbers have been socialized around it, represent the full build-out of the entire Gateway program. I would submit to you respectfully that the full build-out of that program is important, not just for the New York and New Jersey region, but for the Northeast Corridor and for the nation's economy, as are many other projects around the country. But we are building it in phases where each phase that we build has an independent value that is meaningful. The first phase that we're building is the Hudson Tunnel project.
Let me try again with my question. Do you believe the total budget will come in under budget?
I believe that the first phase, which is the Hudson Tunnel project, which has been budgeted at $16.5 billion, yes, I do believe that we must come in at that number, correct?
Okay. That's helpful. I would encourage all three of you as you're heading home to take a look. Next door to the Capitol is the Supreme Court building. It is a beautiful building in Washington, D.C. And if you go look at the history of the construction of the Supreme Court building, Congress appropriated money to build the Supreme Court building. It was constructed, it's a gorgeous building. It actually has 24-karat gold inlaid in the ceilings. And at the end of the construction, they had money left over that they returned to the taxpayers. That was a different era, to be sure, but that is a model to be aspired to. Thank you.
Thank you.